Okay, so part 2, drawing Guarnido. So here have this page. I think I will break down whole page. It's really cool. Так, let me just find comments. Okay. Here. Hello, JB. Cool. Thank you for feedback. Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, you just need to more practice more using perspective, like drawing what is needed for your work. Like if you need environments, okay, so break down, redraw your favorite artist works. Let's try to find the eraser. So weird. Just begin and stream, forget where I put eraser. That's weird. Okay. So here is a page from Black Set, artist Juanjo Guarnido. And he have amazing frame composition. He always play with camera angles, so it's like really like a lot of variety in his composition. So have like down shot, up shot. So what I show you here is like one of really helpful practice for you to understand perspective and improve, like practically improve in perspective. It's analyze other works. It's kind of like one of most direct way to improve in perspective, because you practice exactly what you need, practice exactly what you want to achieve. Because, you know, with studying art, it's kind of always this problem of it's kind of endless process. You can stuck in improving, you can stuck in keep learning all these nuances, details. So solution is like I told in a tutorial about how to study perspective, like I think solution is first you learn this basics. Just you need to memorize all these perspective grids, all these elements of how perspective works, so you understand logic. You understand how perspective grids works, right? Where is vanishing points, where is horizon line, why it's going this way. And to really understand it, you just this perspective structure you need to repeat drawing many times, like over 100. So it's like I say, you can take it for years, like, you know, because you find it too boring and like you drawing, like gaining this mileage, like prolongate it for many years. Then you will be improve very slow. Or you can do it more fast, which is not like you do it mindlessly. No, you do it just non-stop. Like you don't try to avoid kind of this. So here what I do is y-axis and z-axis here, the vanishing point. Yeah, thank you, JB. Yeah, your comments, it's kind of comments important for me. It's also like I say, it's like human contact. So I'm glad to see if my tutorials help someone. So when you write comments, I just see there is people on the other side. It's not like I just making videos for internet without people, you know. So I want to make tutorials for people, and it's nice to have kind of a reaction to see if it helps or what you're interested in. And also if you comment, yeah, you also support my channel this way, so YouTube can notice. It's like engagement, right? Because now you see it's a problem, like every platforms, every social media, they filled with provocative content. Because like when you post some stupid like provocative stuff, there is a lot of reaction. People start to like angry posting, reposting, there is commented. So it's like you need to, if you want engagement, you need to post something controversial and kind of insulting or what, stuff like that, right? So if you want to see more useful content, if you want to see more like good quality content, you for yourself you need to engage with the good content, like share it, comment it and stuff like this. So algorithm will also show you more stuff like this if it will show you engaging with this content. So here you see, like when I learn from my favorite artist, I still always practice in perspective grids. So here I look and I look at his frame and I look, okay, what kind of perspective he used here. So this one is just 1 point perspective. That's it. So then I see like, okay, so here is 1 point perspective, and on his work I can see what opportunity just simple 1 point perspective have, you know. So it's like up to your visual vocabulary, your ingenuity, you can find so many cool solutions with very simple perspective. And then more you do such practice, more you analyze your favorite artist, more you realize that to make cool environments, to draw very cool images, you don't need to have some like super extreme knowledge of perspective. You more important what is about, you need to have experience itself, how to apply this basic knowledge. So it's like in language, you don't need to learn like 3,000 English characters. There is only about 30, right? So it's more about you learn what kind of words you can write with same characters. Same with the perspective, and it's like less usage in general. Just you have less creative and fluent you are. So, and it's like very hard to explain. It's something people really understand when they experience improvement. And this improvement came like, like a sunrise. You cannot like see it, it's not moving like very quick, but you see difference. You see how almost kind of afterwards, in the process you cannot notice movement, you cannot notice this kind of improvement in the process, but then you start to see you can do stuff you're not able to before. So it's kind of that's why it's discouraging for people who is not kind of have kind of ADHD, right? It's like we all artists tend to have this kind of ADHD, and it's again, I think it's more like also it's more like some kind of stereotype. So it's like if you want to be artist, like let's say like real artist, is not about being crazy drunk, crazy addict, and same is not about being like this hectic ADHD guy, right? No, all this it's more like exceptions, yeah, maybe they use these images in like in the media, just because they're more funny for a story, but in reality this more like exceptions, is not normal. Like if you will be like hectic and addicted, and you will never be professional artist. It's just not kind of not match together, because this requires so much patience, so much discipline. You just like need to steady work, yes, need to be organized and diligent and stuff like this. So it's like you don't need to like show your extreme abilities in a moment. It's more about to show your endurance, to show your ability to endure long term battle, like when it's like kind of like a marathon, right? Like everybody run and they already like lost their energy, lost their motivation, and then only then when you don't feel excitement anymore, like this excitement of a first kind of start, you know, when it's like, oh, I want to be artist, this is so cool, I will draw funny pictures, and then it's like disappointments, like, oh, I need to do so much work, and there is not immediate rewards, like it's like nobody give me money, there nobody push likes or stuff like this, like where is rewards? And most of people, they start to kind of losing interest, losing motivation. So in there, like kind of like in a marathon, right? So you're running, and there nobody cheering you anymore. It's just you with yourself, kind of. It's like, and you're like it start to show up how much it's actually important for you. So here it was 1 point. So, and here you see, that's why I teach on the channel. One, two, three. That's why I teach on a channel how to use perspective grids, because like on this one, we don't have vanishing points. Also here you can see it's kind of like a down shot, so it's like almost like a security camera angle, like 45 angle down, like if, you know, almost something like this. So if you watch my video about camera and how to rotate in perspective, video called, so it's like we're here looking something like this. So this like figures, these two, animal woman and dog security, kind of in this perspective. So, and yeah, here I can just look on a degree of y-axis, so it's like very slight, actually, slight angle, kind of this. Then z-axis. Let's see. Okay, I can do triangle. I can see what kind of it's almost like a vanishing point on the edge. Actually, kind of this. Yeah, and x. Yeah, x here is just horizontal lines. So if we have grid, then I place figures. So you see, I again, like I say always, with this kind of analysis, instead of copy, like stop yourself from this when you from desire just copy what you see, like this you will learn not much. What I'm doing here, I'm recreating picture. So I took this sequence, when same sequence I will use when I want to create my own illustration or comic frame. Same sequence, there will be like composition, like say like, oh, like two figure here and some interior here, and then I will look what is perspective grid. you know, so it's exactly the same process. So I kind of creating this neural network in my brain. Like for my brain, he don't care it's my drawing or other artist drawing. For my brain, I have actual experience of creating actual comic frame. So like I say, it's a learning technique which give you like very like realistic experience, very useful experience. So there's dude behind. So on this stage, yeah, I just make like general composition. Later with ink, I will make more detailed. Then here we have, it's like, how it's called, it's, have name for this kind of camera angle. It's called overhead. Yeah, it's called overhead. When there's a vanishing point, like in the center. Let's see. Yeah, here's like vanishing point about here. It's Y vanishing point for vertical lines. So I have the staircase. And then have Z and X. So X here, it's like this angle. Just parallels. And Z, oh yeah, it's like just like 90 angle. So it's like we have 90 degree to X, we have this Z axis. Yeah, I can call it aerial perspective, but there's like in a storyboarding, there is like bird view, and this is like when you look directly down, like in a GTA 2, right? So look somebody right from top down, then it's called overhead. So here now I'll draw staircase. I also have like 2 or 3 video about how to draw staircase in perspective. So you can look there. There's like staircase in a 5-point perspective. Stuff like that. It's a lot of video already on my channel. Yeah, but most likely for this kind of angle, you will use a reference, so you can find, you can make photo yourself, or you will find some reference from movie or other like photograph in internet, like how staircase look from this angle. So you still need to understand how to build it in perspective to be able to draw it properly, you know, because like I say, you always, when you draw from reference, you not just copy like again, like visually, right? Look, like this. No, you rebuild. You always need to rebuild. This also what Möbius is talking. His article, like there's interview with Möbius. He say like he using a reference a lot, like he's literally like stealing compositions from photographs and stuff, or some details. But he say he always make a lot of changes. So basically it's like he's drawing his own picture influenced by reference, not copying reference directly. Because if you copy, then you as artist kind of cease to exist. You just became like a printer, and we can feel it in the work. It feels different. So stay straight, they're following this X and Z, and rail following this Y axis. So here's this Y. So perspective, it's a lot about logic, about understanding which, like, where points, like Scott Robertson say, right? You need to know where is points and connect these points. So very simple principle. It's always, like I say, very basic principles. It's just after time, like you might have like a very sophisticated case where it's just like instead of one box, right, you have like huge amount of overlapped boxes with more edges. It's not just this like simple amount of sides, like in the boxes will be like much more sides, like a hexagon and more organic shape. So here we have this dude, right, like he standing here. So it's again some kind of like a security camera angle, but with a zoom to his face, like a, let's say, close. Yeah, it's like close up. So here we can see again, and here actually it's like kind of tilt, little Dutch tilt maybe. Anyway, we can see direction of y-axis like this. And so this grid for y-axis, for vertical lines. Here, kind of grid for z. And here, grid for x, kind of about like this. Again, like you see, it's just important for me to practice it. In the picture, it's not so prominent because like I can see only x-axis here on this badge, or what's it called, and z-axis here on this stuff. Door have different z and x. So it have its own z and x because it's rotated. So we have this x here and Z here. And this kind of like very tiny nuances which you understand, again, like I say, from experience, you just start to notice it very quickly. If you don't have much experience, much practice drawing different cases, different scenarios, it will be more slow for you, and you will make more mistakes, more confusions. So with this perspective grid, it's just often it's really not so evident, but it's important to have grid because it immediately creates space. And somehow, even in a storyboarding, they recommend to make grids, even like for a sky or desert, or some, for some abstract landscapes, because like even if you draw in clouds and some kind of this like abstract shapes in the sky, still when you have grid, you can better somehow you will deliver feeling of space. You will kind of like, adjust clouds proportions, so even if people will not see perspective grid afterwards, just fact you use it in below, kind of it will be presented, it will be visible, like it will be much better feeling of space. Okay, here I have not much place for door. Okay, anyway, let's make him. So here we have also tilted y-axis, tilted camera. And there we have center of composition. It's like a focus here, this door, and the overlap figure. It's like obstacle. This security guy, bouncer. to use usually ruler. Instead of lamp, I draw camera. Yeah. How fast the world change. So here we have this lamp post in perspective. So let's say this lamp about here. So start to do like this. So how to improve in perspective? First step, learn all basic perspective types, understand how they work. No, not like basic, it doesn't mean like simple perspective. It's mean like a main structure. So like what is a structure line within every drawings in perspective. So you need to learn all this, like 1 point, 3 point, 5 point fish eye perspective. Even 6 point perspective if you want, kind of also good exercise. And then important to repeat just this, like draw this structure many times to repeat how this like vanishing point, perspective grids, horizon line, and do a lot of application, like drawing actual stuff, like drawing environments or drawing people or drawing vehicles in perspective, just to practice apply this stuff. And like I say, practice apply this like following all elements of perspective. This will be actual practice. What I'm talking about is mean not just drawing environments and be happy they look realistic. No, you need to build them in perspective following these basic principles. Like every time recreating these perspective grids, make sure you understand every line, like what is the logic behind every line you do, like why vertical going this way, why horizontal going there, why is convergent like this. So this kind of like analytical, very like kind of rational approach, constructive approach. It's like you're making construction, you're making structure. So watch my tutorials about, like there's playlist perspective basics where I'm talking about this, how perspective grids works, what's main principles in perspective. Then watch my tutorials about fisheye perspective, and look this video where I break down perspective of my favorite artist. So there is like Katsuhiro Otomo, Masamu Nishiro, Tsutomu Nihei, all this like legends of perspective. Like architecture, environment artists, they're like very amazing. Because like you ask yourself, why, first of all, why you learning all this stuff, why you need this perspective? Because you want to make some manga maybe? Okay, then who is your favorite manga artist? Because you aware it or not, but you anyway, you will try to make your work similar to your favorite art. so faster will be for you to get there, to improve. It's to look directly into your favorite art and understand why you like it and how it works, like how this artist achieve this quality in his work, so it became so impressive for you. German grammar asked me, like, when did I feel fluency in using perspective? It's kind of depend on complexity. Like actually, yeah, like teaching on this YouTube channel, like give me a lot of insights on a perspective. So like I talking right now, I understand while I making this YouTube channel, while I like doing all these studies and analysis for YouTube, because it's required to be more precise with principles when I need to talk about this, right? So I realize I start to better understand perspective when I start to analyze and copy other artists' work, like break it down. Because like I say already, it's like, it's not just teach you how to draw box in perspective or some kind of primitives, right? It's teach you like practical usage of perspective. So, and then, because like if you ask like to be fluent in perspective, right? So it's mean like to feel confident and fluent drawing work I wish to draw, right? So it's like when I have this like task for myself, like I want to draw some comic book background, some kind of cyberpunk environment or some very cool dynamic environment. You start to do it, and because you lack practice of doing such stuff, you just feel not fluent, you feel very kind of stiff, right? So once I get more practice of it, I start to be more fluent. And many of my practice came from analyze, break down my favorite artists. Like I show all these videos. Let me show you again. I have like a lot of sketchbooks with this stuff already. So let me see. Because like, okay, like when I've been drawing outdoors, like for many years I've been drawing environment, urban sketching outdoors. And for drawing from observation, from real life, you can actually very long time use not very complex perspective. Because like, you know, it's just when you have not advanced perspective skill, you will subconsciously avoid complex views, you know. So or you will kind of all the time you will find a way how to compensate your lack of perspective skills. So you may draw forever without feeling like you're horrible at perspective. You can always kind of find this excuse and hide your lack of knowledge. But when you draw like illustration or comic book, no, it's like default skill much higher. You really need to have like much better perspective than average urban sketcher. Like, I mean, you can see just look like urban sketching, how much like majority of them like have very basic perspective. So, and yeah, like after a couple years of sketching outdoors, I became fluent with drawing environment outdoors. After a couple years of studying my favorite artist, I became fluent with drawing this kind of like imaginative environments, or environments influenced based on a reference. Because like you study your artist or you study some photograph, it's kind of similar. Like I say, it's like same, technically it's the same process. Because like when you will draw, like in your comic book you want to draw like airport, you will not invent interior of airport. You will go and look for a reference, right? And when you find reference, you will not copy it directly, because it's very hard to find good composition, or like exactly composition that will fit your story. So you need to always, you need to make some rearrangements. You need to reorganize kind of information, material from reference. So same what I'm doing here. Even I'm drawing right now, I'm drawing very close to this reference I copy, right? But it's still not exact. I'm not trying to copy it exactly. Actually, it's like many differences here. Like here is not enough space for a door. Here's like little much zoom than original. Now I draw in some kind of comic books for fun, not for showing, just like experimenting with comic book. But yeah, I plan to make comic books with my own story. It's just working on a story right now. And kind of simultaneously, I want to, before I will start to make like public comic books, like professionally kind of, I still like little adjust in my style. So like here it's kind of my style is something like this. I will do some more studies of watercolor to find like most convenient technique for me. So also you can expect more videos about watercolor, how to color illustrations and comics, because I will work on improving my watercolor skills and will share my insights kind of about it. Right now I have this like kind of couple sketchbooks with my comics, where it's just like some kind of like flow, mind flow, where I just drawing whatever happened in my head. Just total mess and chaos in a comic book form. Yeah, markers, cool stuff. I really like Copic, but I need to collect more money to buy all Copics, because I prefer to have all colors. Seems it's like hard to it's hard for me at least to imagine how to work properly with Copic when you don't have whole color set. But this thing crazy expensive. Так, anyway, so it's kind of here, don't want to draw too much details. Anyway, I decided like I really want to be traditional. And yeah, colors, like right now at least, yeah, definitely will be more watercolors, but then I'm thinking about switching for Copics. And anyway, like watercolor process and Copic process very similar. What I find, like when I was like many years, all this time I was like looking all these color theories. I work as a traditional artist, like oil painting, watercolor from observation. And finally I realized kind of simple fact, very interesting. Kind of simple fact of it's a different color theory for different medium. So when you look for color theory, like let's say on YouTube, you make sure to distinct when it's color theory for video, for photo, or is for oil painting, or is for watercolor. It's totally different. So, and let's say like James Gurney, right, have like this his theory, which I think is like super original, kind of. It's like not for everybody. At the beginning I was thinking it's kind of universal theory, but no, I still kind of see it's really, in one hand is kind of little specific, kind of not for everyone. On the other hand, James Gurney, it's color theory is focused more on like oil painting or gouache. And same, like you watch this like color theories about like for video editing or for photograph, you almost cannot use this knowledge, this theory, when you work with watercolor or oil painting. You really need like a very different system in your mind. And it was like very hard to understand, but when you understand it, it's kind of became so obvious. It's like, wait a second. So very obvious thing. It's just like, because why is big difference? Yeah, because color mixing and because process, you don't have so much like, this like fine control over value and over hue when you work with the traditional media, like you have when you work in a digital media. It's one thing. Another hand, digital coloring lack of some inherent features of paint. and it's like make color like very different. It's not just about like additive and you know, this kind of like light or additive colors. No, it's a little more complicated. So just like if briefly speaking, you just cannot apply color theory which is useful for digital, you cannot apply it for your traditional media. Okay, anyway, here it's funny, too small. Anyway, I have tutorial for channel members, kind of tier 2 patricians, or for on a Gumroad you can find my tutorial about coloring for color theory for watercolor. Because like in perspective you can look, you know, everybody has this experience, this gap between like you learning theory and stuff and then you facing this like real task and you don't know how to use perspective here. It's like, wait a second, so how can I actually use this perspective theory? Same with color theory. Yeah, you can read a lot about color theory, all this like harmonies, blah blah blah, but when you start to mixing colors, when you think about like actual appliance, like how to actually make good harmonious color palette in my work, you feel like lost. It's like, or you will just stuck for a fact that you just need more practice, so you start to intuitively feel colors, or you need some better theory. And I give this theory in my tutorial, which is very insightful, and maybe this is like $5 there, I forget already. It's just like Starbucks coffee kind of. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, good luck practicing. So here. Yeah, so I also remind I work on a book How to Draw Motorcycle. It's already about 100 pages, more than 100 pages there. And I post these pages in my Patreon. So you can join my Patreon and watch this book. It's about almost half of book is done. So there's a lot of details about construction, about engine and other elements of motorcycle. So here we have yeah, so it's kind of like what every beginner problem, like number one, that's for sure. It's nobody understand how it's important to repeat foundations, repeat essential basic perspective. Just draw these grids again and again. It's like you learning language. You can you learn first time some phrase. Is this phrase in a new language for you, right? Like every word in this phrase is new. So you find translation for every word from this phrase. Then you remember translation for each word. Then you practice how to say this phrase. So you now you know its meaning, now you know how to say it, and you finally can say it like you did it once, right? But tomorrow you completely forget all this stuff because this is how it works. to remember something, you need use it regularly, like kind of muscles, right? Or reflexes in a gym or sport training. Like doing once doesn't do anything. You need to make it regular, and only when you make it regular, brain put it in a long memory. And when he put it in a long memory, it means it goes into subconsciousness. So it means you don't need any longer to make a conscious effort to remember it. It's kind of on an automatic level. So to get to this automatic subconscious level, you just need to regularly apply these principles which you want to be automatically. So if you want to be able automatically drawing like very creative, like dynamic perspective, you need do it regularly. No matter you feel like inspiration for it, or you like, oh, I don't know what subject to draw, right? There is always a lot of subjects. Just collect some series of amazing perspective works and study them. Just if you don't have like ideas or you don't have some interesting place go to draw, right? Study, break down these references or break down your favorite artist, because you just need this mileage and and do it properly. Do it like not just because your goal is not copy pretty pictures. Your goal is to get through this essential practice again and again every day. Like I say, it just I think it's like I formulated clearly finally, right? It's like, imagine you doing this thing now. It's take efforts to do, right? And your goal is to make this skill become automative. And this is what is meant to be like Kim Jong-gi or like advanced perspective artist who like a master of perspective. It's just is required like less effort to build in perspective because you did it so many times. Yeah, use it or lose it. So use it, practice it to level when it's became like so kind of convenient and usual for you to do such thing, like a walk, like so you don't think anymore about how to walk. So you can practice advanced perspective or like specific perspective so often. You can like draw it so often. So for your brain, it became like a very usual thing to do. Like if you are walking or like you're regularly like perceive space around you, you have this like knowledge about where is up, where is down, where is left, where is right, and on the same level you will become perspective artist when you will be just like automatically recognize and have all the structures in your brain happen automatically. All you will need to do is just sit and draw kind of over it, like draw like you it will look like you're skipping steps, like you're jumping over stages, and everybody will say like, wow, he's so talented, he's have intuition and stuff. Yeah, and all this intuition is your neural network. This is your experience ingrained in your subconsciousness. It's like it's not just muscle memory, it's a neural network. It's like a very strong, solid neural network. So it's like, you know, this like a boxing sport master, like these people who've been like high level athletes, like a boxer for example. They can be like 50-year-old, 60-year-old, and he already don't look like athlete at all. Can like have big groin and look very not healthy and weak. But he will knock you out like nobody else. Because all this memory, it's deeply there. It's hard, almost impossible to forget all this. Так, so you need to practice to point when you practice, like physically cannot forget it. Like at beginning you always forget and you're very frustrated. It's like, oh, it's impossible to remember because every time I keep forgetting it. And you think like all these artists who can do it, they have some talent or super ability to remember all this stuff. In reality, no, they same like you, forget all this many times, but they keep recalling it. So you forget, okay, study again. Forget, okay, study again. If you don't want to forget, study every day. So you will keep. But if you will make this kind of breaks, like time breaks between practice, yeah, you will forget. So then you need to learn it again, like recall some nuances, and every time it will be easier for you. Again, like a language, you can study language, then you will forget because you not practice, not use, but you can learn it again much faster than first time, because you already have these neurons in your head. You just need to kind of like wake them up. So here we have these vertical lines, then vanishing point about here. So it's like we have this like first plan, 2 fingers, and a vanishing point on them. So it's like horizon line is here. And with perspective, like I say, like you learn specifics kind of use of perspective, but because your specific appliance of perspective all based on a application of foundations, practically you just get like more and more and more and more and more and more practice with essentials, and this make you more capable to learn any other perspective usage. So you drawing like a lot of landscapes with perspective, like with a properly and like properly build perspective. And then it's much easier for you to learn how to draw vehicles in perspective, how to draw people in perspective. And then you keep going. So it's like you learn how to draw vehicles in perspective. Then it's easier for you to learn how to draw spaceships, robots. They all kind of make it like this, because behind all of them is this like essential principles. You keep working with the boxes all the time, essentially, you know. And it sounds kind of weird, but no, that's just actually what is happening. Because if you say a beginner, like, oh, you just need to study boxes, and yeah, if you will only like for 20 years like drawing boxes in perspective, yeah, you will not advance much, because this it doesn't mean like you need to draw boxes. It's mean behind every form is kind of box logic. Here like a little. Now I have new challenge, making stream without coffee. Because I kind of want to stop drinking coffee. At least we'll try. We'll see what will happen if I don't drink coffee 1 week or 1 month. I already feel better, actually. It's kind of less nervous, maybe. So here what we have these figures on the first plane. Then we have like a street facade kind of going here, right? So it's this facade have shape. So like imagine it like a flat shape going into perspective, something like this kind of. I don't want to kind of copy it exactly, just exploring it. So like this, right? So we have facade here, and when you like break it down to shapes, you also can see it more clearly. You can like adjust it to make it more interesting, to prevent boring repetitions or like equal subdivisions. So here I see all this, like they're following this z vanishing point. And at the same time I look like how it looks in abstraction. Maybe make it, some make longer, sometimes make shorter. So this shape here, this kind of bottom of these buildings, and there is kind of road, there's people walking, and vehicles on the road. So then here we have rooftops. So this is interesting, it's about patterns. So I try to show it here. So also important thing. So one element is a perspective grid, just to show established space, kind of, right? Second element, it's shapes. So shapes, you can go about like very general shapes, like we have this shape here, then you can break down this shape into something like this, like we have these two figures, then you see it's like overlapping two shapes, like we have this guy here, this guy here. So anyway, this shape stuff here, I better with architecture shapes. So then we look at architectural shapes, like here horizon line, and we have like shape for rooftop, right? So let's say shape for rooftops. Then this shape, like I show here, for facade, for this street side. And what is important here, this shape, they have different patterns. Like if facade have like this, like we have vertical lines, it's kind of different patterns, they make in different rhythms. And you need to be very, it's better when you deliberate with that, when you really clearly work with the patterns. So this, because this vertical kind of direction here, it's a main element in this pattern. It's like, because here we have more like horizontal direction in a rooftop. And then for a background, we have another pattern, another shape with this kind of like negative cuts, like a skyline, kind of city skyline, right? So we have like three totally different patterns, three totally different shapes with the patterns. It's like different instruments in a symphony, right? So if here it's like vertical, go like this, and then following this verticality we have this like windows, right? It's this kind of musical part. Then this part is like we have, it's like many this kind of lines, which is like they're following z-axis and they also follow an x-axis, but because convergence very subtle, it's almost like they're just like this. So, and they're creating this rhythms, some kind of this like overlapping rooftops here. You see kind of what I'm talking about, right? Because like it's important to see abstract dimensions kind of it, because you can, when you have abstraction, like you can add perspective to it very easily. But when you start from perspective and you don't see abstraction, you will never get it. It will be losing this dynamic and like impact, because here it's like really important impact. Here you see it's kind of creating this noir, I don't know, like it's kind of briefing it has this like vividness because of this pattern. So here we have this, even like they design these windows like in couples, so it's kind of like this. So and this and this rooftops, they all like in a Katsuhiro Otomo is kind of like this, some kind of this pattern. If you notice in Akira, he has this design for this thing, for his how he call it, Nomen, kind of Akira Nomen. You see, so it's like basically this kind of pattern with this kind of vertical overlapping like a stone. So in the rooftops it's this kind of overlapping. On here it's this kind of overlapping. So you see, it's like how much is more than just perspective. That's why I say it's important. It's kind of very different when just talking about perspective and talking about how to apply it in specific cases, because then you start to see a lot of these nuances. It's like a drawing, similar case with a drawing in people in perspective. You cannot ignore abstraction. You need to design these shapes and stuff, and they're kind of codependent, because if you do perspective wrong, shapes start to look weird, and if you ignore shapes, perspective doesn't make much from your work. This kind of work still looks weird. And it's kind of like, for me at least, it's a big difference between working with shapes in environment and shapes in figure. Now, right now, I kind of learning how to make shape design for characters. This is like really require a lot of studying and practice. Because like it's very counterintuitive, which is like every essential good kind of like really like essential skill which give you serious improvement, they always feels counterintuitive, because otherwise everybody will do it, right? If it's kind of obvious, then everybody will just draw it. But no, you need to learn kind of logic of it, and then you need to practice to use it, to train your brain to see things with this logic. Kind of train your brain with this like artistic logic, this like particular Technical logic. Kind of, yeah, like a language. You don't. You cannot learn language just by watching people speak. I mean, it's like work with children. Okay, yeah, okay, maybe language bad example, but but okay, at least if we speak about adults, let's say you go in, you are 20 plus and you go into China and everybody around you speaking Chinese and you're like listen every day and like very focused, very concentrate, and you're like trying to recreate their sound of Chinese, you will never learn this way. Just 100% guarantee. Like, it's definitely something different with the children brain. Like, I don't know this kind of researches, but adults just cannot learn language like this. It's it's kind of it's a really silly idea if you will think you will learn something like this. You will start to kind of lose your mind. You will start to imagine it. You understand what people say. Start to imagine like they have some kind of conspiracy against you. So, they talking like they talking about me. Everybody talking about me. Now I see it. They want to sell my house. So for adults, like if you want to learn language, you really need to study kind of grammar and stuff. When you study grammar, so you need to like practice to use it, practice to recognize all this, understand from practice how it all works. Because it will be weird, like, you know, like learn theory of language without using language. It's kind of impossible. So same with perspective. You want to have, it's just about, yeah, we should make sure we kind of remember like you can learn some skill detached from a practice. Same, yeah, let's say also like martial arts, like you want to train boxing, right? You go train boxing and like you're better, now you feel like you're very good because you have endurance, you're like you're better than beginners who came to gym, and you kind of like very nimble, you're doing all these exercises, you punching bag like crazy, everything looks cool. But if you want to fight kind of with people, all this doesn't make you a good fighter. It's kind of help you to be a good fighter, but without have actual experience of fighting, you have no idea yet, like you good or not. Like, no, I mean, you're definitely not good because you like exactly what you want to do, you didn't practice yet. Oh, look at here. Drawing black set with a cat assistant. Now it's your new teacher. Meow, meow, meow. So here. Like Mike Tyson, he say, he say kind of like, it's very funny if I try to remember the words correctly. It's kind of like you can have like best plan in the world, but you will forget everything once you get punched in the face. Kind of. Same feels like every time you start to draw your illustration or comic book, and it's like, I think I know perspective, but I cannot draw. Why? What's wrong? Because you don't listen Gene Bond. Gene Bond art. Watch my tutorials. Yeah. Share and subscribe. Push like. Best art tutorials in the universe. Gene Bond art tutorials. Just push this freaking like. Oh yeah. Share and subscribe. Yeah. Every day I wake up and first I think about I need to watch Gene Bond art tutorials. Every night I cannot sleep. I need to watch some Gene Bond art tutorials to feel good. Feel good. Feel good. I improve like a crazy because I watch Gene Bond art tutorials. Gene Bond art. Yeah. Yeah. Gene Bond art. Before I was blind, But now I can see, because there is Chenbond art tutorials on YouTube. Follow me, draws me. Best art tutorials in the universe. So this kind of, you see, after you find all this core stuff, it became like little mundane, but in the same time it's not also mundane. You can kind of enjoy. It's more like meditative process maybe when you draw this line art. And also you practice to find this balance between pencil under sketch and inking. So it's kind of like, I don't like to make too much details with a pencil. So with the practice, I just manage to find this balance, how to draw enough pencils so it will be comfortable kind of for me to make inking, so I will not make major mistakes. So yeah, kind of main goal of this is to make sure I will not get off with my inking. And if there is some like important composition kind of nuances, I also make sure I establish them with pencil. Same, you know, like in urban sketching, you can just take your ink pen and just draw immediately what you see, and you will be better and better, and you start to like capture very similar like to actual view. So you kind of gain this skill of drawing similar stuff. But what is a problem with this? It's you lose an opportunity to make something different. You lose this composition tools when you can like make really amazing, impactful composition if you spend some time with a pencil figuring out like some interesting like rhythms, or you know, making patterns. Yeah, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. So it's like everybody know how to draw until they start to draw. So you might feel like you, oh, I just read perspective book, so I know essentials, but then you cannot draw background for your comic. And this like evidence of the fact you have problem with essentials. So it's like I was in this like Russian boxing section, box section, and there's like the boxers. They always joking about karate, like how much people who go to training karate, they don't have real fighting experience. And like was one guy like a black belt, like win many like competitions, like international black belt of karate, something like this. And he want to fight somebody, like some bullies in the street in Russia. But there was like ice on the street. So he just slipped and hit his head when he fell down. So yeah, maybe it's kind of a fake story because it sounds like fake, but it also can be real. So it's like a sport scenario. It's different from like real life, and also in general, like I mean, like boxing, like if you have this like training fights and in a gym, they're kind of very close to real kind of fighting in a boxing gym. Only difference is that like in the street it's much less safe, like nobody will care of you. So general rule, just never fight if there is no like life or health danger for you or somebody. So kind of like you want to save somebody's life, or yeah. But just like to prove something to fight on the street, it's a total idiotism. You need to be really stupid to have kind of street fights. At least from my artist point of view. So you see, like, it might be, if I don't explain this stuff, right, like about these three shapes with the different patterns for them, you might never notice it, because like when I draw it, it's not so evident. So here's some. So here's interesting for this far view for city line, negative shape and city shape kind of have similar design. They both kind of like this. And I'm not like copy exact every building like in a reference. I'm more just copy this in general pattern. It's not important here to be so precise. And again, it's kind of trick which help you to be faster. Also, when you draw like from observation or again like from any reference, it's instead of copying like every detail, you find these patterns and you create same pattern, which is much faster and easier to create because you don't need to follow like very precise feature. It's easier to make similar pattern than similar details with repeating all these elements. It's easier and actually it's much better to do. So it's not like some kind of like hack shortcut. No, it's actually what you should do, and also when you do it, it makes process much faster and more efficient. Whoa. Meow, meow, meow. Так. So now let's do this one. So this one is like similar to my tutorial about drawing roads. So you will understand it better. I was talking about this kind of views in my tutorials about roads, about rope pointing. So to draw any kind of road, there is most convenient approach is to draw them as a ribbon. So it's like drawing in perspective, right? So instead of looking for vanishing point for a road, most like in the most cases, actually you will need to look for a road as a ribbon in perspective. So kind of. So here you can see we have this in the front here, and we have this like, so this like one hill here and the close part of the road. Then the middle plan road go like this, and more far plan here road kind of goes like this. So you need just to imagine kind of it's through. So what is actual form behind this hill? So it just helps for you to understand this kind of ribbon of a road. If kind of like if you have this desire to draw it in perspective properly, like in a space, because perspective in our case is mean in a space, kind of, right? Because like when you have it like this, you have this kind of complete view. You can like this solid kind of visual of this road, and you can, like when you have square in perspective, let's say you have square in perspective, right? You say like, okay, it looks convincingly kind of correct, right? Then you can say like, what if this square I will do like curved? Still looks kind of properly, you know, like it can match your perspective in a picture, right? Same, what if it will be something more like this? And then you see like how to make this kind of distorted perspective look more convincingly, you know. So it looks like one solid unit, which you can like more adjust, make it better shape, make it better, like be more correct for perspective, and also maybe more interesting as a design. So here just explain how it works. So, and this is road, just road on its own, right? You can find middle line, and then like I show in my tutorials, we can find like, okay, where is the vehicle? So vehicle here, so it's kind of like ribbon going like this actually, so you can adjust kind of like this. So, and on this ribbon you have vehicle kind of grounded like this. So it's mean it following here this kind of horizon line. So now I can draw like a box on a surface of a road. So all this road is kind of totally going crazy, just curved like crazy everywhere. But in any point I can draw a box. So here I can draw a box. Let's see, this like small car here. Here we have car on ascending kind of. So just place box on the surface. So you don't need much perspective for a road surface itself. You just need to have a clear idea of its shape. And then when you start to draw something on this road, for this you need to find vanishing point. Because this vehicle, it's symmetrical, it's not fluid kind of thing, right? So, okay, then we have tree. Oh, he actually have a cool trees. I need to study his trees, how he draws them. crazy. Yeah, like Guarnido, he is a fantastic artist. So many skills. You make colors, like kind of draw environments, vehicles, clothing, everything. Fantastic. Just super professional draftsman. So then here you can watch my tutorial about how to draw vehicles, how to draw cars. Just make very quick. Here we have behind here we have this house. And again there's pattern for city on a floor plan. I kind of don't follow exactly all proportions, just explain main patterns. Yeah, thank you, JP. I say about him, yeah, he like Guarnido, like everything and lighting, everything like pro level. Так. So in here we have. So in here it's interesting to see. We have this like far view, this pattern of these buildings on a very far away. So it's like low level buildings here and high rise buildings are on a very background. Micron 505. Oh, I wonder what. I wonder. Mm-hmm. So you study now cool artists. And what is question? Yeah, like you see, I have like about 10 cool artists I study from. Like actively study. And more than 10 just favorite artists. Yeah, good. Yeah, like I say, just you study your favorite artist. So it's a classical model of a master and apprentice. So you can look like every like great artist biography. They all study from masters. and you look like, let's say, Hayao Miyazaki, right? He start working in an animation studio, and he have like his like masters there, from who he study all these like main principles, like techniques, work ethic, everything. And he interview also, he say he was copying a lot of this artist who drew Atomic Boy. I forget, Toriyama. I think it's, no, not Toriyama, other one. Very famous. So he say he just like he was try a long time to stop being copycat of this artist, because he drew so much similar to him. And Miyazaki say, yeah, it's like we all go in, like we are born in this world, we don't have anything our own. Everything is somebody, like other people property, like house, chair, food. It's belong to somebody. You don't have anything. You're just born here. So same, he say, Miyazaki, same kind of with the art. You need to study your favorite artists, copy them at first, and only after you will find kind of your own. Like your own approach, you know. So it's like more just like you try from different artists, different stuff, and then you find some middle ground which is fit you best. So in our case, like we don't have master around us, right? Like I cannot go some art studio and or animation studio to study like all this stuff like directly from him. So I find master work online, or I buy a book and I study from them like this. Also, if I can, I find like interview, documentaries. So this is not kind of a it's not some kind of way of a hacking career. It's the most essential classical approach. Like you think you improve by practicing drawing stuff. Same is very important for your improvement. It's to study your favorite art, like really analyze it, redraw it, because you think you study something when you just look at it. No, you learn nothing this way. You need to recreate it, and then you will really learn from artwork when you recreate, because you're going through like actual process, and you start to really understand like how it's possible to make this kind of work, because this is your goal. You want to make this kind of work. This is definition of good work for you. So instead of kind of wait, you somehow magically, miraculously, you will just able to do it one day. Start doing it right now. Start from an end point, kind of, you know. It's like a reverse engineering or whatever. It's like if you want to make airplanes, you will not like kind of say like, no, don't show me airplanes. I want to make my own airplanes, right? It's so stupid, kind of. Of course, nobody. It's not works this way. You start from looking airplanes which been made by already, right? Same here. Same, like, like all these tools, they've been already used in so many ways they've been applied. So like practically it's been done everything possible. So instead of trying to learn yourself like how best to use materials, just steal technique from masters. They develop it for you. They wish you took it from them. So it's kind of like I say, this kind of legacy will continue, kind of, right? So because every particular artist, he's not only like individual, he is also himself is a body of art, right? Like his work, his all this contribution, it's also kind of actual part of all this culture around us, all this like idea about what is art, what is genre, what is medium. All this is somebody idea. It's not some kind of floating in a space concept. No, somebody created and they're passed to next generation, and people keep recreating, reproducing these ideas. So if you want to work in this kind of medium or genre, you look for people who make it. You look for people who explore it, who kind of like master it for a best of it, kind of like who like did like most like outstanding results achieved with this kind of materials. And same as like perspective, coloring, inking, every aspect you learn from other artists. It's a most fundamental and fastest way to get directly to your goal. So here's this pattern for buildings on a floor. This is where I kind of have this Go-Go Power Rangers song in my head. Так. So where's my eraser? White one. So weird. Must be KGB steal my erasers while I was asleep. Yeah, sure. I mean, like I say, everybody has their goals, and like you look for how to learn to draw your specific thing. Like me, I interested in the kind of storytelling, so not just concept art of vehicles, but also like talking about some events and show some action. So for this action you need different approach for dynamic perspective and kind of storytelling action sketches. So like this. Oh, and actually recently I have drawn cars. So cyberpunk stuff. Yeah, comic book artists is crazy. And their animators is even crazier. But if you're like storyteller, like if you like Guarnido, no, Guarnido is not his story, but he making all these compositions, he making character design, coloring. Imagine all this, like you need to. It's not only like you're drawing this picture, right? You actually also need to kind of create this stage, right? So it's like he finds somewhere like references for this kind of view. Oh, this all takes a lot of work. I can imagine like only for this kind of picture you might take like all day to find the reference. Like how he doing all this is another big kind of subject, a lot of work. Yeah, thank you, JB. So yeah, it was fun and also crazy. It's a kind of madness.
Madness. This is
Jane Bond